welcome to episode 7 of ABC OC TV. We're so happy to have you back here with us. Today we have Sandro with Two Towns Entertainment.
Hi, ladies.
We're really excited to interview him. He's our first musician here in studio, so we are very excited to hear more about him and his company.
All
Thanks
right.
for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So Sandro, how did you get started as a performer?
Well, I guess I could start when I was in my younger part of my life. As I grew up around a house full of music. My uncle was a musician. My grandparents loved singing. Karaoke was always a big part of our household and parties and stuff. However, I wasn't really into it when I was younger. My parents always wanted me to, get guitar lessons and music lessons, and I was just not having it. Fast forward to junior high, all my friends were really into music and like playing in bands and stuff like that. And I didn't want to be left out. So, so I started picking up the guitar, and I got really into it. And, I started writing compositions and all that good stuff. Now, none of my friends from back then play any instruments. They're all doing other stuff. So I'm the only one that kind of left doing that. However, fast forward to, my high school years. That's when I started getting really serious and started like learning how to become a professional musician. And that basically led to like college. And taking formal training there.
Where did you go to college?
I went to, funny story, I auditioned to, at a couple universities. I didn't get in, so I ended up going to Fullerton Junior College. And back then, you basically either took classical music or jazz music. Mm-hmm. And during high school, I was really into like hardcore music, metal, and all that heavy stuff. Right? I was an emo kid.
I love it.
I had the whole like eyeliner and
yes.
We
need to see pictures of this.
Oh my gosh.
I imagine Dickies and Converse.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to have my lip pierced, and actually all the piercings that I have right now, I had them in high school, and I was like the only kid that had piercings.
Wow.
It didn't go well with my parents. Let's just say that.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up originally from La Habra in Whittier.
Okay.
Then in high school, I moved to Fullerton and lived in Fullerton for a big part of my life. And recently I moved to La Habra. So I went to Fullerton, Sunny Hills High School. But anyways, back to Fullerton Junior College. So I ended up doing jazz because it was like, it's fast or, it's more exciting than classical. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But now I kind of regret it because I think classical would have been great too. So, along with that, with the studies, I started putting bands together. That's kind of like how I started evolving to what I have today, my company today. So I started putting bands together, and we used to play coffee shops, art galleries, wine bars. We used to play for free. We didn't, we just wanted to get exposure. We didn't really care for anything. We just wanted to play music. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and then it just started snowballing from there and evolving, and now I'm, doing this full time. So I love it. Yeah.
I love that.
And you write your own music then too?
I don't write as much as I used to, but back then, yes, I would write a lot. I tried singing, but it turns out I'm not a great singer, which is one of the reasons why I work with a lot of vocalists. I feel like I should just stick to what I'm good at.
It's funny. I don't even think I noticed that you weren't the vocalist because you have like such a strong personality. So it's kind of cool I feel like with most bands you're like dealing with the vocalist or that's the person that's leading the group. So it's kind of cool and different. Yeah,
it's as a guitar player, we're mainly the side man, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. But the thing with that is that there's so much competition. There's so many guitar players out there. that I kind of got tired of waiting for people to give me a call for gigs. So so I was like, you know what? Why don't I just start putting my bands together? You know.
I love that.
So and that's kind of like how Two Towns kind of started. You know, I just So now I book my own stuff.
So when did you start kind of like, when did you decide you wanted to do gigs? Like when was that? How long ago was that? And like what were the steps that you took to start performing?
Of course. I would like to say that was in my early college years.
So you're still in college. I think that's really impressive.
Yeah, I was still in college. And a big part of that was as a music major, we needed to perform. We were like, you guys need to get out there and start playing. And again, I didn't want to wait for getting called that, so I started booking my own stuff. And it just evolved from there, you know. And at that point, I didn't see myself as getting into the wedding industry or event industry. It was just more of like, I want to write music and go out and perform it. You know, that was my thing, and it still is. It's still something I strive for. Obviously now I have to pay some bills, so you know, and I love it. I love this industry. It's fun. So back then I would go by my artist name, which is Sandro Razciel. So Sandro Razciel was my artist name, and I booked all my bands and all my music through that. It turns out it was really hard for people to remember that name. So 2 years ago, I decided that I needed to come up with a different name. And that's kind of where Two Towns came about. So Two Towns, I started thinking, and I bring people together with music and musicians. I have a lot of musician friends, and we all come from different places. And I felt like it kind of worked out with couples too, and like events. Like we're all coming from different places to come together for one event, to create memories and happiness and all this cool stuff. So I was like, you know what? We're all coming from two places, so Two Towns, and I just kind of stuck.
I love that. Definitely has a ring to it.
Thank you. And so that's I rebranded in like around 2 years ago. So far I like it. I don't want to rebrand just yet. So we'll keep it. Right. Thank you.
So out of all the events that you play and perform at, with weddings, what is your favorite part of performing at a wedding?
I think I really enjoy the process of getting to the wedding. Not getting the day of the wedding, the whole process of putting the wedding together. From the moment I get the first email to say my goodbyes and all that. I just love the process of going through all that. And then during the wedding, I just love seeing the reaction of the guests, the bride, or just anyone there. That feels my plan. It makes me more inspired, and I don't know. I feel like I love that feeling of being able to make someone's day memorable and happy. It's really cool. Yeah. It's like we're the soundtrack to their wedding.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's
so true.
It's really cool.
I love that. It's true. Soundtrack to the wedding.
I feel like live music just in general, anytime that's at a wedding, it just adds a whole other atmosphere.
Right. And music is a big part of our lives. I mean, do you guys listen to music the whole day on your car rides or, before you get up? Or it's it's very important. So we enjoy it.
So tell us about your process as far as working with a client. Do you have like an online system? Do you have like a paperwork that they fill out, or how do you kind of plan the music out with the client?
Yeah, of course. Well, it typically starts with an email or a phone call. I like to interact with people in a personal basis. So I like meeting with people. So I'll call out let's meet up at a coffee shop or somewhere. If the people are busy, so if that doesn't work, then we'll do a phone call or an email, and then the process from there is I just want to hear what their inspiration is, what their vision is, and exactly what they're looking for. And it's funny because sometimes we'll get into like, well, what music do you listen to? Oh, like this song is cool, and like we'll go back and forth, like picking out songs. So it's really fun process, and sometimes I get introduced to new music myself, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why haven't I heard of this artist or this song? Totally. So I really enjoy. I treat them like we're like friends. It's just really cool getting to know my clients, and I really enjoy that process of going back and forth and just planning their soundtrack. So.
Love that. Yeah. Do you ever learn new songs for weddings?
Oh yeah, all the time.
We did that.
Oh yeah, we did that. Yeah. That's
Last
right.
minute, the night before, I was like, "How about this one?"
Oh, for a wedding? Yeah. Oh, nice. Oh my gosh, really? That's impressive.
Yeah, I think. Well, since I've been a musician for a long time, so I've learned so many songs, and because of that, I think I've been trained to just like be like, oh yeah, I know that song, or it's a lot easier for me now. Well, if you would have come to me like maybe like 10, 15 years ago, I'd be like, oh, I don't know that song. Oh, I don't know that song. Oh, I don't know that song. But now, when we do gigs or weddings or events, like if somebody's like, oh, can you play the song? 90% of the time we'll probably know that song, which is really cool. We're able to like just.
Yeah, it's like your repertoire has evolved.
Oh yeah, we have a huge repertoire.
Random question just about being a musician. Do you feel like it's easier to learn songs because you're a musician?
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Whenever we learn songs, I right away put them on my Spotify playlist or YouTube playlist, and I'll go on car rides and just listen to them before I even start playing them. Before I start learning them, I just get them in the back of my head. Just that's part of my training, I guess.
Yeah. That's
and then, cool. Which is easy for me to learn. A lot of songs have the same, very similar formula, especially like pop songs. They're very 4-chord, 6-chord songs. So it's really easy. You start hearing patterns, which is something cool. When it comes to events, we're able to like pull out songs like real quick, and if we don't know it, we'll just like my singer will be like, she'll talk to the crowd, and while she's talking to the crowd, I'll listen to the song, or I'll look up some chords, and just by noticing the chords and all that, like we can
on the fly.
Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah,
actually.
we've done. Oh my gosh, it's really, people get really impressed by that. For us, it's like we do it every day.
Yeah.
But
that's awesome. And I feel like you're really personable, which I think is awesome. That's, I do feel like some people wouldn't maybe do that, and they're like, well, it's not in our wheelhouse, like, so sorry, but I really like that you go above and beyond, and
Thank
you do whatever it takes.
I think, creating relationships and good customer service is very important. And it just, because that will lead into more referrals and stuff like that.
So Sandro, what would you say makes your bands or what you produce with your company a little bit different than other competitors?
Okay. Well, we're still a very small company. And with that, I like to say that we like to invest a lot of time into each event. And really craft each event to what the client is envisioning. So I think what sets us apart is that we're not like, here's our menu, pick whatever you want, and that's it. Like we like to really be personal with each customized. Yeah. And our big repertoire. We have a huge repertoire, and on top of that, I work with a lot of really cool musicians, and some of these musicians have been on American Idol, on The Voice, And I pride myself in having great relationships with these musicians, and it's something that I can offer my clients. Be like, do you want this singer that was on The Voice, or like something like that? It's something that it's really cool for them to be like, wow, I had so and so at my wedding, and it's just like the icing on the cake. And I think another thing that sets us apart is our level of professionalism. We're there to make somebody's night. We're there to like have a great time, have everybody, to make sure everything goes smoothly. And I think that's something that has stuck with us. So, yeah.
I love it.
With that said, can you speak a little bit more on the services that you do provide?
Yeah, of course. So our basic, I think our go-to, our most popular service is our duos, which our duos typically is a singer and a guitar player. But we do have a lot of musicians that we work with. So that could be, it could be a piano player and a singer. It could be, it could be a little bit of everything. And then, so we do duos, we do trios, quartets, and that's pretty much our standard, our bands, and then we also do bigger bands. So we'll bring in saxophone players, horn players, piano players, and a little bit of everything. And on top of that, we also have mariachi bands. Something that I think that's another thing that sets us apart is that we have a lot of mariachi bands that we work with. So I like to throw that in there. Sometimes people don't expect it because we mainly do duos and trios.
So many companies that do duos and trios and then mariachis.
I think a big part of that is my culture. I'm Mexican, and so I'm very familiar with a lot of these awesome bands, awesome mariachi bands that we work with. So
versatile.
Yeah, you kind of have to be, I think, in this industry, a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So it seems like you've grown your company pretty quickly. What do you do for marketing?
Thank you. A big part of our marketing is when we play shows at wine bars, venues. I like to talk to people. I like to network a lot. So a lot of it is just word of mouth and getting, getting that one-on-one interaction with people. So that to me is a big part of my marketing. On top of that, I like to do social media marketing. I like to find people on social media that are have just got engaged or stuff like that. And I like to send them a message and just say, hey, congratulations. Want to wish you the best. And then I'll leave it at that. And then if they answer back, then I'll be like, well, hey, if you ever need live music. Yeah. And it kind of snowballs from that.
Do you feel like you get a lot of business from doing that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's great advice, honestly.
I've kind of found a strategy by, door knocking on social media. There's the ads, the Facebook ads, Instagram ads, but I feel like that's cool to, show a large amount of people what you do, but it doesn't give that one-on-one interaction, even though it's through digital marketing.
But it's like that person's like, wow, this professional is like really cool. They have this awesome business and they're reaching out to me. Yeah. Like it almost makes the client feel special, which they should feel. And
I do a little bit of research. Like I'll try to figure out what their names are and I'll call them by their names and really try to make it personal and be like, you guys are so cute. Like you guys are awesome. Hope we can, work together soon.
So what about a typical day for you?
Okay.
Morning, you wake up till the end of the day. What is your usual work day?
I like to start off my day with a run. I've always been a very active guy. I don't work out as much as I used to.
Story of everyone's life.
But
Life of a business owner.
Yeah. But my day usually starts I get up around 5:45 in the morning.
Wow.
Which is kind of crazy. which is kind of crazy for a musician, right?
Yeah, wow.
Anyone, really?
So I get up at 5:45 and I'll go on a run. And then I'll come back, have my cup of coffee or two, and then I'll start working on emails. And then I usually work from home, which is pretty nice. I just love being at home, and I quit my job. I used to be a music teacher.
Oh, okay.
At School of Rock. And have you guys seen the movie?
Yeah. I've seen them like around here.
Yeah, they're becoming very popular.
Yeah.
So I used to work for them, and so I transitioned to working at home. And so usually my typical day is wake up, exercise, work on emails. If I have client meetings, I'll go to that. Meet up with my musician friends, and we'll jam, or I'll bring a new song to them and be like, hey, we should work on this song. And so we'll create like arrangements, and then if it's towards the end of the weekend, we'll be playing gigs or we'll be playing weddings. So a little bit of that, and that's pretty much a typical day for me.
So nice, such great discipline. Waking up at 5:45.
Thank you.
I know, inspiring.
It kind of that came about from high school because I used to be in soccer. And we had to wake up really early to go on runs and stuff like that.
And it stuck with you?
Yeah.
I feel like I had a 0 period,
I
but
did
I am
too.
not. And I hated my life every morning.
Things have changed.
Yeah.
Things have changed, right? I'm slowing down a little bit, okay?
No, but that's really cool.
Thank you.
So can you tell us a little bit about the future of Two Towns Entertainment? Where do you see the company going? And then also maybe you can share a few bucket list venues.
Of course. I see Two Towns Entertainment growing, to a level where we do multiple events a week. Like I said, we're still a small company, but we're working hard on getting it up there. I love to interact with more people. I think we need more music in our lives. And with bucket list venues, let's see. I guess one day I would love to do like Staples Center or like something huge. Obviously, I think that would be more of like if there's a big event going on there, because we're not like solo musicians. We're writing music. We're not ready. We're in it mainly for events. So
Sure. Like
but that would be nice,
carpet
right?
party or something. Yeah, I can totally see that.
Or like an after party for the Golden Globes or Grammys or something. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yes, I can totally see it.
Thank you.
I really did like what you said about the love thing. If you want to say that again,
Okay.
as maybe like
Yeah.
because that's like a good theme. I feel like that is like your vibe, so that's
Right.
good to portray. And no, it's not cheesy. I'm like all about that.
So I think back to saying what I was talking about, that we need more music in our lives. With everything that's going on in the world, I think we need to come closer and show more love and appreciation to each other. And again, I know it's a little cheesy, but I think music is a great way to do that. It's something that we don't need words, or we don't need any. It's something that we can all relate to. Like when you hear that groove, that beat, that song, it doesn't matter where you come from or your beliefs. Like if Michael Jackson's playing, you're gonna be into it.
Yeah.
Or it could be anyone,
Yeah.
So I think that's cool.
Brings people together.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. So you said that a lot of clients find you at gigs. So do you have like a list of your upcoming gigs on your website, or if couples wanted to see you, where can they go?
Yeah, I actually have a calendar on my website where I put all my gigs. I actually need to update it for this coming month. But yes, if you guys want to find us where we're performing next, you can go to twotowns.entertainment.com, and we have a calendar there with all our shows.
We should go.
You guys should come.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's always a good time. So
And at Two Towns Entertainment on Instagram.
yes, at 2 Towns ENT, so abbreviated. And yeah.
So, Sandra, thank you so much for coming in
Thank
today.
you.
Loved hearing more about you and your company. Honestly, such an amazing story. And we are for sure going to go check you out.
Yes,
very
the next
soon.
show.
Please do. Thank you so much, ladies. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So, guys, there you have it. Episode 7 of ABC OC TV. We will see you in our next episode. Thank you so much again to Sandro from Two Towns Entertainment.
Thank you.
Make sure to check him out at Instagram at Two Towns ENT. Also, Trendsetters are alive, so make sure that you submit before October 31st at midnight. Submit all your amazing work. We want to see all your submissions, and we will see you at our next meeting, which is our gala, and in our next video. Bye.